When you complain, you make yourself a victim. You either look for a way out of the situation, or change it, or accept it. Everything else is meaningless. Sometimes life can be downright awful. And it's not just you. This happens to many and very often. You can be undeservedly offended and humiliated, regularly betrayed and deceived, provoked, trampled. That is, to be drawn into situations where you have only one role, the role of the victim. This is very sad and unpleasant, but it happens. But have you ever thought about the fact that the victim is not a label, and not a patch on clothes, with which you are now obliged to walk for the rest of your life? That it costs you nothing to break the imposed pattern and regain control over your life? When you complain, you make yourself a victim. You either look for a way out of the situation, or change it, or accept it. Everything else is meaningless. The role of the victim is not an easy burden for any person, even the strongest and most self-confident. Unfortunately, none of us are immune to this. Another issue is the reaction to what is happening. So how does the victim feel? Naturally, she is depressed, upset, demoralized. In addition, an unbearable feeling of loneliness and uselessness covers her. It seems to her that she was alone with what is happening, and no one can help. For this reason, they often do not seek help, or even refuse the offer. A person who finds himself in the role of a victim unsuccessfully tries to somehow cope with the situation. Forget about the traumatic factor, ignore insults, etc. After a while, he starts having health problems. This is logical. To live in constant tension is beyond the power of anyone. The victim withdraws even more into himself, continues to suffer and get sick, while the way out is very simple. There are many things that you can do yourself to get out of the role of the victim and return to normal life. Get out of the situation. To begin with, ask yourself, can I somehow get out of the situation, or withdraw in one way or another? For example, your friend or partner acted meanly towards you, betrayed, undermined trust. Being with him next to you now is simply unbearable. In addition, often he continues to deceive. That is, just forget about everything, and try to live on as if nothing had happened. It will not work. Can you somehow get out of this situation, so as not to endanger your emotional and physical health? It happens. Often our environment turns us into a victim. Not an accident or the like, but daily decorations to which we get used to over time, and already believe that it cannot be otherwise. But you can break this vicious circle, and change the situation. For example, move to live for some time with friends, relatives. Yes, it is difficult, uncomfortable, temporary, but in any case, it is much better than continuing to be a victim. Change the situation. The most ridiculous and senseless thing to do is to sit and wait for the situation to resolve by itself, or for the person who is tormenting you to change for the better in some unthinkable and magical way. Instead, ask yourself, what can you do to make a difference? Yes, you can't force other people to change if they don't want to, but you can influence the situation itself. And often very important, you can be a catalyst for change. For example, your partner or family member is addicted to alcohol or drugs, and you live in the same house, and when he is high, life turns into a living hell. What to do with it? At first glance, the situation really seems catastrophic, because you are not able to change this person until he wants to. Nevertheless, even in such a situation there is a way out. You can change it by setting clear boundaries on what you allow this person in relation to you, and what, never and never. You can regain control over your life and what is happening by telling this person that you do not intend to endure boorish antics, and the first opportunity to demonstrate it to him. The whole point is that you were just voicing your dissatisfaction. They showed their emotions, resentment, anger, but they did not set clear boundaries, beyond which it is strictly forbidden. Thus, your partner or relative could always expect that the next day he would oversleep, apologize, make a pitiful face, and be forgiven once again. Until the next one, of course. Again, you cannot change other people. This is basically impossible. But you can have a significant impact on their behavior simply by changing the format of communication and setting clear boundaries. Accept the situation by changing your own thinking. Sometimes the situation develops in such a way that accepting it is the only possible solution. This, of course, is not about those cases when you yourself come up with insurmountable obstacles that prevent you from leaving an abusive partner. We are talking about really objective things that you simply cannot change at any particular period of time. What is left in this case? Accept the role of the victim and continue to carry your cross? Not at all. Accepting the situation does not mean giving up and living like this until the end of your days. To accept the situation is to change your thinking and perception of what is happening, or what happened, in order to be saved and not break. Believe me, you can do this in almost any situation in which you find yourself in the role of a victim. But this is provided that nothing threatens your life. Because in this case, there is only one way out: to run, and immediately. Even in the middle of the night and penniless. Yes, accepting is painful and difficult. But you can do it. If we are talking about the past, then just accept that it really was terrible and could not hurt. Don't try to fool yourself that it didn't happen, or it's your own fault. Yes, it was, and it was terrible. But it has passed. It's time to leave the past in the past and live here and now. It won't work right away. You will need time to heal, but nothing is impossible. If you had to accept the situation temporarily, make sure that it does not turn into forever. Think about what you can do. Prepare an alternate airfield, change jobs, acquire new skills. You can and must be saved. Your task is to change your thinking. And this means that you will never agree to the role of the victim. You will return your power and voice. They are yours, and no one has the right to take them from you. Whatever happens to you, what suffering and humiliation you have to go through, do not forget that you have complete control over your thoughts, actions, and reactions. This way of thinking will change not only you, but your whole life. What happens when you come back to life? Your strength and self-confidence will return. You will suddenly find that you are unusually creative and think outside the box. You will learn to solve problems constructively and without panic. You will learn from your mistakes and not be ashamed of them. When you give up the role of a victim, you get what you have been deprived of for so long, a long-awaited freedom. You become the master of your life, not a passive observer. You are now scripting your days. You set the pace and decide which way to go, where and with whom. It will be hard, but no one promised that life would be easy, right? Persistence and purposefulness are your first assistants. They will help you overcome everything and move everything. And most importantly, to return to life, to laugh again, to rejoice, to love, which means it's worth it. No one wants to be a victim, but no one is immune from this. It happens all the time. But there is a way out. Just give up the role of the victim and start rehearsing a new role, the main character of your life story. Try it, everything will work out.